All right, so we are back yet again doing something else. Same day. It's now 1:25. We built a couple of the casting handles. Decided we were tired of having sticky fingers, so we're going to take a break from the epoxy. Derek did a really good job of arbouring up the last one we did. I did the epoxy work. But he did perfect.
Girl blush, don't you?
Yeah, you know. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to work on this rod. We're going to switch over and we're going to build a guide train for the big boy. This is my swim bait rod, throwing 2-ounce glide baits and big crankbaits.
That back one loose, is it?
Yeah, so it's just a cam, so yeah, you can spin it to any size.
Okay.
So what we're going to do first is this is a 7'6" rod. I have the titanium silicone nitride guides, and we've already used the tip gauge, and we discovered it was a size 5.
That's size 5, yeah.
So I pulled a size 5 tube and a size 5 ring out of my inventory here. So we'll put that on here in a little bit. And we're going to build a guide train down to size 5. So this is what it looks like when I'm building the guide trains for you guys when you are buying these. And I've still got a few, so if anybody else is interested. Alright, so these are size 5 ring running guides. So we're going to pull probably about 6 of these out. We may not use all 6, but we're going to pull 6 out to start with. And I've got a layout here, which is pretty close, that I've already got on my tape cheat sheet here for building guide layouts. So we'll do one. And so this is the purple-ish, whatever lavender color that is. That's my 7'6" layout. And this is just a base layout because we're going to do a test and adjust guides based on the test. So how many we got there? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running guides. So we'll put these back in that box. Where's that pack?
Right here.
The 5s. Nope, that was the tip tops. There you go. Put those back in there. So those are the 5s. Let's do 5 running guides. Now we're going to start with probably an 8. Let's see what we got here. That's tip top. 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 Okay. These are 6s.
So what are the different
7s?
guide names? You've got the tip top.
So you got tip top. These are the running guides. So they're all the same size typically. And they run in a straight line.
Yep.
And then you have transition guides,
which are further back.
Which they're further back, and so you're going to have a stripper guide, which is going to be your biggest guide, and then you have a transition
guide. And that's when it comes right off.
Yeah, it's going to be 22-ish inches away from the reel. So you'll have a transition guide, and you'll have a stripper guide, and then you'll have your running guides, and everything in between are called transition guides. So you're getting from the big size, to eventually you're getting to the size of the tip top.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we're going to probably start with an 8. Those are 10 double foots. All right, so we got an 8 double foot is going to be our stripper guide. So this one will go way back here to there. Okay. So we got an 8.
So now are these gauges like gauge 10? Is that what that's?
No.
Or how are you telling the?
So what I'm looking at here is for the traditional running guides, stripper guides, whatever, all you have is a ring size, and what that tells me is that it's 4.5 ring size. This is the material number. This is the manufacturer's. That's titanium. The model is XO RSGW, and then it's a 4.5.
Okay.
That's what it's telling me.
Oh, okay.
So we started with an 8, which was that one. We're going to go to a 7 double foot as our transition guide. So this is going to be a spiral wrap. So we're coming around.
Okay. And how many transition guides?
Typically, I would have no more than 2.
Okay.
Depends on the height
of the rod,
of the guide itself. Because what you want to do is make sure as you're coming around in a spiral, that the line does not rub the blank.
Okay.
So most of the time I'm coming, straight up from my stripper guide,
Mm-hmm.
a 90-degree bend or
Mhm.
90-degree off of that for my transition, and then 90 again right back into the running guide.
Right. Yep.
But these are very low profile because when they hit them, well, this one's not so bad, but the little ones, when they're laying on the blank, there's not much distance between the foot
Mhm.
and the bottom of the ring.
Okay.
So that's the height of the guide.
Okay.
So we're going to do transition guide with a 7. And then we're going to roll into a 6 single foot.
So you're basically just working your way down. 8,
Yes.
7, 6, 5.
Yep. We're going to do a 6.
And now, if you were just doing a regular, not a rolling, would you still do the same?
You're going to transition down because
Mhm.
you still want a smooth transition because the line coming off the reel is this high, right?
Right. Yep.
And then coming off the tip, it's this high.
Gotcha.
So you still, to reduce friction of the line on the guides, you want it to come through as smooth. So you don't want any big bends.
Yep.
Because anytime you got a big bend, you're going to have friction,
Mhm.
and you're going to lose casting distance.
Okay.
So the name of the game is to get as much casting distance with as little effort as possible.
Okay.
One of the other considerations is you want to take line slap out, which is
Okay.
not that big a deal with a casting rod, even though it's there, because you got the line coming off the spool like
Mhm.
this, right? It's shooting out,
Right.
and slow motion, it's got a bit of a
A
wave.
wave. Right.
So you want to knock that down quickly. One of the things that a spiral wrap does
Mhm.
is you lose that wave as soon as you hit the transition guide. It's gone
Because of the way.
because it takes that it takes that initial slap
Mhm.
out, and then you shooting straight out. That's why when you cast my casting
Oh, yeah,
rods
yeah.
2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
it went, shoo,
Yeah. It's
Okay.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
and it's all in engineering and design. That's what
Now, does it also matter the type of reel you're using?
it does.
Okay.
So quality of reel obviously makes a difference.
Mhm.
Number of bearings. When you go to a spinning guide
Mm-hmm.
or a spinning setup, yours, I don't know if you paid attention, you actually have 2
Mhm.
rings in your first guide.
Right.
That's called a microwave, and that does exactly the same thing because in a spinning reel, the line's coming off like this,
Right.
and it's a big,
Yeah.
it's a big snake snapping.
Right.
What it does is it hits that larger outside ring
And
and then funnels it right down into
Right.
the middle, and it's all gone from
Yeah.
there.
I was like, it looks like a bullseye.
That's exactly what it do is that's the slap hits that outside ring
Right.
and then gets funneled right to the middle ring, and it goes straight from there.
Right.
So slow motion cameras, they got it on their
Mhm.
website.
Yeah.
A normal one with the big ring and then a smaller ring,
Mhm.
the normal spinning rod has rings this big.
Right.
It still keeps going through. With the microwave, it just goes straight.
So it
and
knocks
that's what,
that initial wave out, so it'll.
so that's what I kept telling you when you first started using my custom rods,
Mhm.
spinning rods, is that you can overpower it.
Right.
And that's what you're doing is when you cast too hard,
Mhm.
you're slamming into that first ring
Right.
and you're losing the advantage.
Right.
But if you just flick it,
It's designed to let it.
it's seen.
Yeah.
It's really
Oh, yeah.
easy to overcast.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
Microwave guys.
it was what 10 years since I'd thrown a
Oh, yeah.
rod, and yeah, it told me don't do it too hard. I'm like, all right,
Don't do that.
Hey man, it's not really going that far. Yeah, dummy, do
like
it
this.
easy.
Do like this.
Hey, what do you know?
All right, so I'm gonna add some more running guides. I don't know if we're gonna use all of these.
Okay. Now, how do you determine exactly how many you're going to use? Is it
We're gonna get to that.
okay?
I'm going off based on history.
Okay.
You also I don't have one up here, but every blank, almost every blank, they've done testing
Okay.
and they will give you a recipe.
Oh.
It's not exact, but it's pretty close.
Okay.
And so what I've done is I've got my recipe.
Mm-hmm.
This one was for a conventionally wrapped rod. So say they all stayed on the top,
Right.
but so we're probably gonna wind up pulling some of these guys out of it, but we won't know for sure
Okay.
until we do the static load test,
Okay.
which we're gonna do.
And that's how
Next.
we see the bend. And,
You see the bend, and I mean, you can't have too many guides. The only thing about having a lot of guides that you really don't need is you add weight and you add more friction points. It's not going to hurt you other than it's going to reduce casting distance just a little bit.
Mhm.
But a guide, and I mean, you do add a little bit of weight to the end, but I don't think it's significant.
It's not going to be detrimental. And I ruined my
I don't
rod.
think you're going to notice, you know, 1/100 of an ounce or whatever, this thing weighs.
Right.
We'll get my scale out and go, did you put something on the scale? All right, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to take it out of this.
Okay.
And I have to find my micro guide bands. There they are. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 14 feet on 12 guides.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So we got
just
10.
2, 4, 6.
You got 2,
Or-
4,
Oh.
5, 6,
yeah,
7.
Okay.
And
Because
what we're
those are
gonna
all
do-
singles.
Yeah, and what we're going to do with these rubber bands is we're going to put them on the blank. So we're going to take it out.
Okay.
I'm going to stand it up right here
Okay.
in the light where I can see. I'll put my glasses on so I can see. And we're going to put 14 bands on. So what you do is you just roll over the tip top.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very thick blank, so it's more difficult to put these little bands on, like I missed. All right, see, I got it there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't pull it off. I try to pull it down as far as I can
Mm-hmm.
until it comes
That's
off.
a strong band.
Well, and something that I recently learned on my trip to Mudhole that I shot a video for you guys is that Jake told me that they just discovered this, or he had. They get real tight, but if you get them where they're really tight,
Mm-hmm.
you just let them sit a minute, they'll
And they'll-
relax, and then you can take them on down.
I
didn't know that.
About to break off at any second.
Well, they get so tight, it's tough to get the guides up underneath them
Mhm.
because we're going to use these to hold the guides on during the testing.
While we're okay.
That's 2,
Out of
14.
14.
So there's 12 left. And we will probably be fast forwarding through this.
And so you just let it pull itself off.
Yeah.
Versus fighting with it.
See, that one came off early. So it's 1:30.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in this rod shop for 10 hours now.
For a minute. Oh yeah.
Actually, I got in here about 3, so about 10 and a half.
What'd you start with this morning?
I started with the trim,
Okay.
pre-assembly of those handles, and then I started fighting with cameras.
It's a never ending battle.
No, I mean the cameras and I were going head to head by 6 o'clock.
Right.
We were not getting along very well. I threatened to throw them in the canal. It
Right.
sometimes works. I was having problems with the printer in the office.
This morning?
No,
Oh.
like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I bought a new one, identical one. Put it in a box right beside it and said, "See, your replacement is here." It worked fine for another 3 or 4 months. It just got a better attitude.
That's funny.
It's funny how you can affect stuff. In fact, that's the box is still sitting out there for the new one. The old one just left last week. It finally quit, and I threw it in the back of my truck. I'm like, "You're going to the dumpster." Bro.
I know that's right.
All right, so how many we got? I'm just
Uh,
going to pull these off because that's going to be away. That's just my tag to let me know what rod it was
okay.
until I get it built. Just want to know.
Okay. Yeah. Keep track of it.
Yeah, I've already got my old
1,
bills.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11.
Looks like one more.
So we need 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 12 guys.
Yes.
2 of them double flips. We need 14.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it should be 13 on there.
13 on there?
They want to break off?
Yeah, I've got a couple that are broken off. I couldn't get. Once they break off this little tab, it's not worth fighting on them.
Yeah, because there's 13 on a
On the
sleeve.
side, yeah.
Mhm.
So where we at now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
One more is 14. Alright, so now what we start doing is moving them down further.
Okay.
Closer to their final
Resting
resting place. Yeah. Just need to go way on down here. Let those rest a minute.
Is it one size fits all?
In this particular case, that is true. You want to tighten that down for me?
Yeah, absolutely. My way, right?
Yeah. Yep. What do you do typically? Is that span? So I'm just pulling to you.
Yeah, at the same time. Okay.
Alright, so based on my layout, I'm going to need one about right there. And one about right there. Keep moving those down. I forgot.
These things are on there snug as a bug in a
They're
rug.
snug, aren't they? I mean, we can use the 1/4 inch or the 1/8 inch wide tape too, if we can't get them down. It's just easier if you can get them under the rubber bands, because then you can adjust them a lot easier. You don't have to move them.
Is this typically a bigger rod than what you?
Yeah,
use
you don't
them for?
normally use them on a spin rod. But I thought I'd try it since I
Yeah.
was told by Mudhole you can do it. It was Jake at Mudhole, not Jake at State Farm.
He sounds hideous.
That's funny.
What's he wearing? Khakis.
Khakis. Alright, that one's in about the right spot. Keep moving those down. If they'll move. I mean, this blank has got the ribs in it. Makes it a little harder to move them.
Yeah, I can hear it.
The slick blank like this one would be a piece of cake to slide them down.
Right.
Alright, that one's in the right
That
spot.
one is- I got them sissy computer hands, you
Come
know.
on, man.
Yeah. I don't think that one's
Where's your
good.
gaming
I
callus?
think that was
Don't you have a gaming callus on your thumb from pushing the buttons and that?
No. I wear gloves.
Close.
I wear approved work gloves. Or my class 2 hot gloves.
Well, you may not get them down that far.
It's kind of like what you said. I believe the ridges don't really help it too much.
Yeah, they don't. A slicker blank would be easier to get them down. And this is a pig boy blank too.
That's a thick blank.
Now the other
Now,
option
is
I
this the
have,
biggest one that you typically would
it's
build?
about as big a diameter as I build.
Okay.
You know, I build extra heavies, but they don't really get any thicker than that.
Right.
Now the other thing I would have done if I wasn't going to try this
Uh-huh.
is I've taken the surgical tubing, which is a bigger diameter.
Okay.
I'll take my razor knife and I'll shave myself, about to the 1/8 inch.
Mhm.
Turns into a rubber band, slides down, stretches a lot better.
Oh.
And the more you stretch them, the thinner they get.
Right.
I didn't do that because I was trying this trick.
Right.
We were going to wind up using tape, likely. That's about the last one I'm going to be able to get on. Because the other thing you got to do is you also have to get the guide foot under it, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Well, they're starting to slide a little better. Maybe they are relaxing.
Just taking a little bit.
Maybe only the stripper guide will be an issue. Yeah, so eventually they do slide down, but these ribs are a pain to work with. I'll just snap that out real quick.
You want this one down or?
Not yet.
No.
Just want to be able to pull almost a little easier.
Where'd you get this thing from?
So this is the CRB Gen 2 Pro Power Wrapper. I bought it at Mudhole online. This is my newest toy.
And what's that one back there?
That one is that was actually an American Tackle,
Mhm.
but all those components are bought by, or made by somebody else. There's about 3 companies that put them together.
Like a Frankenstein type?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, GM makes cars and Ford makes trucks, but
Mhm.
they don't make all the parts.
Sure,
They put them together. They're assemblers. So you got American Tackle, you got Alps, you got a couple others that put them together. All right, so that one's for a double right there. These two, I don't know if these are going to make it. We may be pushing the limit of these two. We'll come back to them. So what we're going to do now then, while we're waiting on these to relax, is I'm going to make sure I got my Stands adjusted properly. As far as height, so they're resting evenly on bottoms. Not so much worried about pulling them down tight yet, but so we're gonna start putting. Well, probably the first thing we'll do is just go ahead and put the tip top on.
Okay.
That's a question I get quite often. Is how do you put a tip top on? And I've got a video on how to put a tip top on the channel called How to Put a Tip Top On. I know it's probably confusing, but here's a video from about 6 months ago that is a really short video that is how to put a tip top on. So I'm gonna slide this down to get in camera here. Actually, I'll slide the camera down too. The things I do for y'all. Okay.
Y'all are spoiled rotten.
They are. Alright, so tip top is going to be straight up because this is going to spiral, right? So that's the trigger is straight up. Tip top straight up. I ain't going to walk this now.
This is for a bait caster.
This is for a bait caster. Now, this is going to be for this bait caster, actually.
Okay. And what reel is that one?
That's the Concept A2 from 13 Fishing.
Okay.
It's a big boy reel.
It's a good looking reel.
It's pretty. This is the one I have on the frog rod that you were using.
Oh yeah,
That you were using Saturday.
I was like, it looks
What do you think of that rod?
Dude,
736. It's pretty sweet.
I think do just about anything you want to with it.
Yeah, it's a pretty mean rod. One of my favorites that I built myself this year. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the tip top on facing up.
Okay.
Perpendicular. We got the rod pretty much, we got, due north straight up, right?
Yep.
Pretty close. I mean, this is not its final resting place, but it'll be, you just need to get it close right now. And it's not close enough to make me happy. Okay, so all we need is a lighter and some tip top glue.
Okay.
So what you do is it's heat sensitive glue.
Okay.
About 150 degrees it starts to melt.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna not put it in the flame, but above the yellow is where the hottest is, right? I'm gonna get it pretty soft on the end here. And I'm just gonna smear a little right there. I didn't get it hot enough.
Essentially, you want to let the heat work for you.
Yeah, you want it to be like a hot glue gun, pretty much.
That's probably a lot thicker than hot glue.
It is quite a bit. Okay, get a string.
Yep.
I'll fix that. Alright. Now we're going to put a little more heat, keep that moving pretty good. We're going to take our tip top and I'm going to scoop some of that excess off and into the tube. And then I'm going to shove it on. Now I know we tested you and you were the right size.
It was 5.
Except now, I know I put this on this blank. Did I not put this on?
No, yeah, we did.
I thought I put it on the blank. So we're having a bit of technical difficulties here.
Because the 4.5 was too.
It's too small. This is a 5. Please stand by.
Please hold.
Yeah, exactly. I'm making a mess, actually. And you guys will too. Happens.
So do you have...
I'm just the only guy. I'm probably the only YouTuber that shows all this stuff. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
So can they...
That does not fit.
Is it not liking it?
It does not like it. I know I got a 5 out of that bag and I put it on the tip top. Huh. Well, let's try again. Another tip top laying here. I just picked up the wrong one. Huh. Okay. It's a 5.6. Need a 5.5. It's a 6.6. Six and a half, 6. It's a 6.5. 7.5.
5.5.
There's a 5.5. That's a 5.54. That's a 6.4. I think it was the first bag I actually stuck in, so obviously it's going to be on the bottom. That's a 5.5, 5. So it's a 5.5.
So what is?
All right, so this is ring,
Okay.
and that is tube. There's two
Okay.
different ways to measure it, inches and millimeters. So
Mhm.
that's the inch measurement. That's the millimeters. I always use a millimeter. So it's
Okay.
5.5 versus, and then a 5 ring. So
Gotcha.
this is the
Okay.
tube size.
Okay.
Ring size is first. Tube size is last.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So we're going to try this 5.5. Let's see if it fits any better.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we're crazy.
We might be. Well, let's see if I can get it on. Doesn't go on far enough. Alright. This is getting crazy here.
We didn't accidentally test it on the rod, did we?
What's that?
So we didn't test the tip of that one, did we?
I don't think
By
so.
accident.
Did we?
I don't think we did. Because I remember you put it on there and you checked it.
We did switch rods though.
Well, you did.
I don't know.
Does that 5 fit on?
I bet it does. Now that you say that. Alright, this was the 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't fit either. Alright, so that's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
We did this.
Well,
Whoops.
well, you know, you get that on those big jobs.
Yeah. Too much going on. See, the reason I told you guys this was going to be a chaotic day is because crap like this was going to happen. Cameras, so this tip
The importance of a
actually
clean workplace, guys.
is actually a 6.5. 6 doesn't even work.
Really?
Really? Alright.
So yeah, we had to have tested that then, just
We had to.
because I know we did pull this one up front.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we switched routes that we're gonna do. So that's the 5. That's a 5.5. This is the 5. I'll get you the sucker put right on there. Yes, sir, Bob. I melted the glue. Go right on top of it. That's what we did.
We got to
changed-
swap.
We changed horses in the middle of the stream.
Well,
Probably not a good idea. But we caught it.
we're just so passionate, you know. We're trying to do everything at
Is
once.
that what it is? Alright, so that's a 6, 4, 5. There's a 7, 5. We may have to go to 7. I don't know if I got 6 5s. That's a 6.56. I don't want to go upsize in the ring. It's a 6.6. It's a 5.6.
Now, how much of a difference would that make, or would you notice, Steve? I mean,
My OCD would bug me.
okay, no, you're okay. That's fine.
That's the honest reason is my OCD would bug me. It has
Okay.
no performance at all.
Okay.
I just would know it's not what I would have picked to put on it.
What if I pick and just hand it to you and tell you?
You will be able to see it if you look carefully.
And be like, that don't look right.
I don't even know if it'd be that bad. It's just one of those things that I would know it, and it would bug the crap out of me. I know me.
And this one is which one?
This is a 6, 5.
Okay.
So we have 6 tube, 5 ring.
Okay.
5, the rings match all the way down. I don't like going upsize on a tip top, although sometimes you have to.
Oh, really?
But again, it doesn't matter. I just don't like the way it looks.
Right.
I don't think it affects performance at all.
It's just personal preference.
Yeah, well, a lot of times, sometimes I will, if I'm on a small rod and I'm doing 4.5 or 4 size running guides, and I know it's going to be used with something where they're going to put a leader on, so there'll be a knot.
Okay.
I may upsize just to give room for the knot to come through.
Okay.
And not get stuck.
Gotcha.
It's a lot less hard. It's much easier to fix it if they get it stuck in a running guide than a tip top, because they'll pull the ring out.
Now, freshwater, you don't really use leaders a whole lot, though, do you? Or?
Clean water, some people will go from braid to mono or braid to fluorocarbon leaders in very clear water.
Okay, like more of like a spring water.
Yeah, like some of the lakes over in Winter Haven Chain.
Right, yeah.
And then down south of Miami in the Glades, it's pretty clean. So most of those guys will either fish with mono or they'll go braid to fluorocarbon leader. So we're going up.
Then does that push all the way through or no?
No.
So it stops at the tip.
Yeah, it's closed at the tip. All right. So we're gonna let that cool for just a second. But before it gets really cold, like now it's not pulling. I can just take it. And
Get that off there.
Still a little hot. I mean, it's not hot to me. It's just stringy.
Right.
I've had to wait. It'll peel right off, and you don't have to do much cleanup
Okay.
because you can get it off before it completely sets, and it's still kind of rubbery, and it comes off.
Nice.
It's a timing thing. Like that's not totally clean.
And that just comes with repetition, getting more used to doing it and understanding
you
your
mess
cool
them up
point.
enough. You know, I'm the best rod builder in this room because I've messed up more rods than anybody else in this room.
That's right. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Okay, so that debacle is done.
Now we got the mystery of the.
Yeah, that was pretty
top.
bad. Typically, you put that
It
back.
happens, yes, sir.
We're done with these. I'll put this stuff back so I can find it next time.
That goes here.
Yep. I just whacked the camera, so all that stuff goes in that little tray over there. All right, so now, how do you get these guides under those tight little rubber bands? I have 2 specialized tools for that. One of them is my tiny little. Are they sliding down any better? Not really.
No,
And we may have maxed out the stretch.
But
not-
and again, you said these aren't typically
Not for that big.
for that big.
I think we reached the end of our relaxing. They're done relaxing.
That old boy, no. Hey, we found your max relax point, Bubba.
Okay, so how do we get the guides in place? There's one thing. We're just going to slide this stand out of the way.
So we got room to work.
Got a little ring work. And I got a really fine pick. Super sharp point.
You'd have made a great dentist. You have all the tools for
I
it.
can't stand dentistry. I keep smacking the camera on my head too, so I got a good picture of my forehead right now. All right, so we want the guy here, right? Let's just say, I think we got one extra rubber band there. So we're going to put a guide about right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the pick. I'm not going to stab underneath it because I don't want to scratch the bone.
Right. You want to dig into
So I'm
the.
going to lay on the base and just roll the rubber band up on it. It's hard to see what I'm doing, but trust me, that's what I'm doing. And then if you're not careful, you stick yourself like I just did.
What? But you're not damaging the blank.
No, I didn't damage the blank. I poked a hole in my thumb.
Good. Well, it's not the blank.
So now we've got a gap in there. The reason I have the little tape is so I don't scratch
The eyes.
I don't
Or the
scratch
eye.
the insert.
Okay.
Or
And that's the black piece inside of the.
that is a ceramic insert. It's made out of silicone nitride.
And that's to help frame.
It's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard. Very dense.
Okay.
So I'm going to slide it up in the gap. I'm going to pull the pick out.
And voila.
Voila.
Which is French for, and then I found out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna eyeball some of this guide spacing here, just because I'm looking at it and I'm not real happy with what I'm looking at.
Now, how do you can you just slide them up and down to adjust them, or is it you got
That's
to fight
exactly
with them a little
why we put the rubber bands on,
Yeah.
so we can slide them up and down. We're gonna move that one. So now that I got it's a little more stable. That first one is hard because it's kind of out there flopping.
bit? Right.
We're gonna tighten this stand down.
And it looks like you always want to bring the top down.
Yeah, so I did the first thing I did is I adjusted the bottom so
Right.
everything was same amount of pressure on the bottom with the blank
So that way
pretty
you're
much
not there.
completely horizontal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have quirky things in it, so it's touching. So now all I got to do is bring the tops down to keep it from jumping out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't tighten them down too much, although I wouldn't tighten it down yet because we're still moving them around. I'm trying to move them out of the way as I go.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, again, you guys might actually be able to see this, is I'm just holding pressure on the band, putting down on the tip, slide it right over.
Mm-hmm.
There we go, I didn't scratch it. And then I'm going to slide underneath. Pull the pick out. Voila.
Easy money.
So then you can get on a roll, and I'm still kind of adjusting here on the fly,
Mm-hmm.
looking at my guide layout. And again, we'll test all this stuff in just a second. Now, the further you get down, the tighter the band gets, the more difficult that little trick gets to be.
Okay.
But right here, is the blank's starting to have enough stiffness to it. It's easy. It doesn't push away from you when you're pushing down with a pick. So you just kind of start rocking it.
And do you always start from in?
I usually start from the tip top.
Okay. Is there Is it how you
Doesn't
feel
matter.
comfortable?
It's just my method. I'm gonna skip that rubber band.
Okay.
And we have an extra there.
Now, is there a minimum or maximum amount of guides to
Nope.
have on a reel? No.
On the rod?
Or I'm sorry, on the rod.
No, there's not. It's there's performance based. There's just aesthetics.
Okay.
There's cost.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of factors that affect how many guides are on a
Just
blank.
depends on what the client wants or what you want, or
I always build it for performance.
okay.
If you want a cheap rod, I can give you the name of some builders that'll build you a cheap one.
There you
No, I'm not building. I don't build rods I wouldn't fish with.
go. Okay.
And you've seen what's in my boat.
Oh yeah.
I don't fish with junk.
Oh yeah. That's a fact.
You went too far with that one too. I'm back. I'm not really ready. Alright, so now it's starting to get a little snug, so I'm just going to hold it and push over and turn.
You can get you one of those big old swivel cams. We just move around wherever you're going. You just need a camera guy. I got you.
I need a camera guy.
See? Telling you.
I just need cameras that actually work.
It's
And
been
honestly, these
doing okay
GoPros
this time.
are probably the best out there. The best color, the best, and they're shooting full HD,
Right.
4K. So I can actually zoom in with this camera so these guys really get to see what I'm doing. I'm doing intricate thread work and stuff. They
Yeah,
can
yeah,
actually
yeah.
see what's happening.
Okay.
I do have to work on I'm gonna do some kind of rolly base for this top one though. This was I need a fix quick.
Right.
And I haven't had
Wire
time.
management.
Yeah, I mean, I had a harness in there, but I was having troubles with, this was typically the harness that went with it.
Mhm.
But there's also some cabling to go straight into the computer.
You
Which
ever
just,
think about getting one of those?
oh, the chesties? I
Yeah.
got,
I mean, they might get in the way. I just don't know if
no.
they help now.
I got two of them over there. You can have them if you want them. I put it on one time, like, nope,
Not doing it. Not for
Nope.
me.
not happening.
Don't they have the ones you can mount to like a helmet and
Yep,
stuff? Yeah. Nope. Just not.
Nope.
You want the freedom.
I need it. I build rods first. I shoot videos second.
Right.
Priorities
You're right.
is building a quality rod.
That's a fact.
I'm slide this one back too.
And this is the one that's going to be offset, right? The one up here.
The second
Or
one, the
second.
transition.
Okay.
So this is going to be our stripper. That'll be the first one.
Right.
Be straight up on the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and then this one will be on this side, so it's going to roll right,
Right.
and then we'll be into these.
Now, does that also affect with when you're building the rod in the way that it has a natural bend? Does that affect it too? Whenever you do the
No, the only reason, well, it actually does. What it does is it takes something called rotational torque.
Okay.
It takes it out. It completely eliminates rotational torque. That does not. It moves the rotational torque back here, where the blank is much stronger, instead of out here.
Less broken tips.
It's exactly the magic. The mysterious 6 inches broken off your tip
Mm-hmm.
typically is not from screen doors or ceiling fans, although those do get them. It's typically because of the blank. The rod is built wrong.
Right.
I mean, it's probably unfair for me to say that, but it's just built them wrong.
Right.
And
Because it was built right, you shouldn't have to worry about it.
you would not have to worry about rotational torque. And honestly, a lot of the factory builders are starting to now build spiral wrapped rods. Forever until last year, the only way you could get a spiral wrapped rod was from a custom builder
Oh, really?
or to build it yourself.
So you're kind of already ahead of the game.
Well, the rod building industry, the custom rod building industry, is the cutting edge of the rod industry. It's we're out here playing, Frankenstein.
Companies want to go with what they know is safe and what, hey, we've used it
Easy,
forever.
that's what's easy to produce in China.
Right.
That's honestly what it is. And see, this is really tight, so it's not wanting to jump up on that.
And that isn't helping much either.
Now, if you catch it right with the ribs, it usually is not that big a deal, but it will not jump up on you. It's so tight. So yeah, that's a bust on wrapping flipping sticks. The base on, I got that one in finally. That was a bit of a struggle bust. Alright, so this is our last running guide. This might actually turn into a transition guide once we get the line on there. Just because we may need it to be. And you'll see why in a minute. Any chance I'm going to get this one up on here? Probably not. I'll give it a minute.
I have faith in it.
No, I don't want to scratch my blank.
What you thinking?
Get them gotten off. They're just going to be in the way and they're going to irritate me.
And just go with the old tape method. Old
Yeah.
tape Peruski.
The old Taperoski. So I'll just use the 1/8 inch.
Mhm.
And this is 90 degrees rotated already. The old square Rooney method. Transferring that line up here.
Mm-hmm. So you know exactly where. You want to keep that there?
Yep, you can pull it now. Okay, that one's in place. And we'll roll it back to the top for the stripper guide. Put that square up there. And I'll stand square, just like that. And I will slide this. I just gotta get this close for now. That's good. Okay. That went pretty smooth with the exception of the old tip top fiasco.
Yeah, well,
We learned a few things,
Yeah.
like measure the right blank. It's helpful. All right, so now we're going to set up for the static load test.
this one.
You're just in the measuring devices right there.
Gotcha.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so now this is our
Load
fake
test.
This is our fake bait tester, and the
Okay.
reason I have it set the way I have it set is it pretty much matches the height of the line guide coming out.
Okay.
See where I got to take
Yeah.
the air down? So that matches
That's a good looking reel too.
pretty much. Yeah, this is another one. Man, Lou's makes some nice stuff. That's a custom light.
Oh, is it really? So what would you use that on?
That's the lighter baits. My
Okay.
swinging those little bitty baits. Alright, so I'm going to put it in the reel sleeve just like it's a reel.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it down. And then we're going to run it through.
The
like
eyes?
Yeah, just like we're running through the guys like it's a finish rod.
Can I rotate it a little bit? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's good. It'll turn hard. It'll be fine. Just grab it and turn it.
Just grab it.
Yeah, it'll turn. It's just the belts on it.
Okay. And last thing I want to do is.
No, there's a lot of friction in that belt,
Okay.
which is why I've got the belt on so it doesn't move on its own.
Gotcha. I bet that'd be a pain in the butt trying to do something and it's just.
Exactly. Alright, well, while you finish that, I'm going to get my static load tester out, which is right here. And here. And here. Here. Let me pull all that slack to you.
Yes,
So it
sir.
doesn't get tangled up on something that shouldn't be tangled up on. There you go. Okay. You guys seen in static load test, there's a video called static load testing. This thing is sad and it needs to be rebuilt. But it still works. Soon I will be rebuilding it, build a new one. But for now, this is gonna work just fine. We gotta slide this out of the way. And clamp it to the table here so it doesn't move. I'm going to transfer the rod to it. And I'm going to, and I just said something about a camera etiquette.
That's just to fill the space so it
Yeah,
stays
just
in
to
there
get
nice
it
and
tight.
hold it.
I need this camera right.
Do what?
You have to wait a minute.
You got a baseball bat if you want.
Get it, at least get one synced right, and then your timing should be fine after that. Okay, again, another camera issue. Hopefully we got all that last hour or so we've been working on this rod. Okay, so the first thing we did is we have temporarily put the guides on with either rubber bands or tape. We've got our guide alignment tool / imitation reel in place. And we're going to load it like we're catching a fish. So, and then we're going to look at the bend. Now, one thing I see right away is one of the characteristics of this moderate fast action is that you get a lot of bend right in the tip. Which is why I can cast, which is why I'll be able to cast those big swim baits with just a flick of the wrist and not really have to work at it. If you take a really heavy broomstick out there to cast these heavy swim baits, you're doing it with all arm and shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to let the rod do the work.
Is that one of your little nifty things that looks like you cut out a little?
And I cut a notch out
Notch in, yeah.
so it stays.
Yeah. That's smart, man.
So what we're looking at here, that actually looks pretty damn good to start with. I don't know that I would change much of anything because all I'm looking at is a change in the angle of the line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just got like, this is a little awkward here.
Yeah.
So what, this is stiffer so we can slide them this way because you're not really getting much of a change here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll slide this one a little bit. And then we can slide this one a little bit.
And just bump them up.
Yeah, we can tighten up in this area right here where you're starting to get a lot of the bend.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And what I did is I just knocked the guide out from under the rubber band. So here we go. This is when you really do poke yourself. It's much easier to do it there than it is up here. Especially when you've already got a line through it. Getting it under is not a problem.
I mean, even do.
Nothing. There's
Okay.
not room for you to do anything.
Moral support, brother. You got this. Ooh, kablooey.
Okay. I appreciate that. So.
It's more difficult when you don't have the.
Yeah, when it's all stable and doesn't move around, it's a lot easier.
Right.
So you got to just move the rubber bands really slowly, because what I did is I pushed the guide out from underneath the rubber band.
Okay.
It's, again, on a slick blank, this is a lot easier to do. Fighting with these ribs can be a pain. All right, so I've corrected a lot of that.
So there may not be a need for that extra band or
No, but I left it in there so we could, if we had to, we could stuff another guide in there, pull the line
just
back
to see what it
yeah.
does. Yeah.
Because this is the section I wasn't really familiar with. I haven't built this blank a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I built a couple, and I don't have a master guide layout because I got a book that's got guide layouts in it that I'm building.
Nice.
Just so I don't have to do this every time.
Right.
I mean, I still do it on most blanks because even though it may be the same model blank, you know, everything's a little bit different.
Right.
And if you buy any rod at Bass Pro, this has not been done on it. They did it once the first time they ever designed the blank, and they gave
Slap it together.
They gave the assembly line. Here's your measurements. Put it together.
Oh my goodness.
Put it on the straightest axis so it looks the prettiest standing in the rack, no matter where it bends.
I
All
don't
right, so
know if I
that's
ever told you a story. I begged my grandma. I used to watch the Outdoor Channel. When I was there. Begged my grandma to get those Rhino indestructible rods that came on TV. He's like, "Oh, Mimi, it'll never break." Okay. 3 weeks later.
yeah. This is not an ugly stick. There's so much resin in an ugly stick.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't break it.
Right.
It's rubbery.
Yeah.
It's got zero feel to it. You could have a 5-pounder smack your line, you may feel it. I mean, it's just, these are so sensitive you can feel a fish looking at it. Right? You
It's like
fish
they
with
have a lateral line, essentially.
exactly.
Almost.
So, all right. So I'm looking at my transition here. So coming through here, one thing I always do is that in a casting reel, you want the line, because you see the level wind mechanism here moves back and forth as you're retrieving. But you want the line coming straight back down the blank to this, so it doesn't stack line on one side.
Okay.
So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to slide this back about 5 degrees off
Okay.
of the wrap,
Mm-hmm.
because I want this line coming right off the center of the blank at this point,
So it feeds back
so it feeds level for the level line. Because if I had it rolled over here a little bit, it's going to stack up line on the right
to that
side.
one side.
Yeah.
Bird's nest, all kinds of.
Not bird's nest, but it stacks the line up, and then you do have problems with casting.
Okay. So we try and just.
So we're trying to keep it from stacking on the right
Mhm.
side. So if we have this point here and
Mhm.
dead coming back dead center, even though the line is not in the center of the guide, it's coming down the center of the blank. So this is off about 5 degrees now, back to the left, but we're actually spiraling right. Okay. Now this transition I don't like at all. If you look here, it's plenty high off the blank, so the line's not going to touch the blank. But you see that kink? You can't see it from this side, but you see it from this side. You got a big kink right there.
Okay.
I'm going to rotate that a little bit.
Now, would you rotate this more this way, or would you?
Yeah, what I would do is I'm going to rotate this one a little bit.
And this one is the
that's the stripper.
Stripper.
This is the first transition guide. What it
Transition
looks
guide.
like we're going to have 2 transition guides.
Okay.
So we're going to slide this back up a little bit. One thing we could do also is pull it down this way.
Okay.
So
To give it more.
so you don't have as much of kink. That's not bad now. Just by rotating this one out a little bit, it took about half of that out. You see it, what I did with it? Because it pulled this side up. Because before
it's
it
not
was
as tight of a.
yeah. So before it was around here,
Right.
so you had a big kink.
Right.
Now it's more of a gentle curve,
Yeah.
and then it's smooth into here. So now we have a layout of a spiral wrap rod with 12 guide training. I wouldn't take any guides out. I mean, you probably could take one of these out
Mm-hmm.
and it not make a difference. But I probably
You're
wouldn't.
pretty dead nuts on it though, man. I mean, that looks good.
I mean, if they're not, if you look at a standard wrap rod, they're going to be, the shortest is going to be closest to the tip, and they're going to get a little longer every time. It looks great. It looks very symmetrical when you're holding your hand. But you can see that that's not what happens, because where this bend takes more of it, this rod with a moderate power, there's a lot more bend right here
Right.
than here,
Right.
or even here. This
Right.
is staying pretty straight.
This is dang near
The
your elbow.
bend is right here. That's your elbow. So what we do is we have tighter guides
Mm-hmm.
to keep the line of a smoother transition to it.
Right.
So that was your first lesson in static load testing. Piece of cake. Once you've seen it done.
Right. Well, and once you know exactly what you're looking for and what you're wanting to achieve versus what you're wanting to avoid, because the what'd you call it again?
What's that?
This part.
The transition part?
Yeah.
The spiral?
The spiral, right.
Okay.
So I wasn't really, I was like, oh, it looks good to me, but from your end, you're like, no, it's got a.
It's got a kink in it because you
Right.
have to look at it from every angle.
Right.
It looked good from here,
Yeah.
but when you got up top, you could see that
It's
bend in it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it for video in a day. In fact, I may wrap it for being in a rod shop. I've been in here almost 12
About
hours.
nap time.
It's about nap time. Oh, man. And we're going to fish tomorrow, so I kind of need my strength, and then I got to work again Monday. So this was the chaotic rod shop day. We did a little bit of everything except for wrapping guides. It's the only thing we didn't do today. And mix epoxy, but the thread finish. But that's it. I hope you guys picked up on something. This is how a real rod shop works. I know you don't see the real deal on YouTube very often, but I told y'all from the very first videos, I'm going to show you how it is. And typically I do have a little neater work area, and I have a plan, and I plan ahead a little bit, trying to look like I know what I'm doing, and then today was today where I had to get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
And this is how it is. So hopefully the cameras worked well enough most of the time, so I have now stitched together a coherent story.
Right, yeah. It's like Dr. Frankenstein and
So yeah, not a Frankenstein rod, it's a Frankenstein video today.
there you go.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.
Have a good day.